Hi team, hope you're all well. We are back with volume 3 of your pelvic floor exercises. Now this is a series of videos, so if you're new, I want you to start with volume number 1. That is where we learn the basics, and it's best done in a lying side position to start with. That saves you, trying to use your glutes or your quads, which is actually doing pelvic floor exercises incorrectly. So start with volume 1. In there, you'll also learn about where your pelvic floor muscles are and what type you have, fast and slow twitch muscle fibers. So please start with volume 1. Then, when you master the basics of lying on your side, you can progress on to volume 2, which is done in a seated position. That way you can start incorporating them into your daily life a little bit more. Maybe you're feeding the baby sitting down, watching TV sitting down, driving in the car. Then that way you can start to think about it like, oh right, I'm going to start doing my exercises. I know they're not the most exciting exercises to do, but we all make time to go to the gym a couple of times a week now. And if you want to be strong on the outside, you've got to be strong on the inside. We can't actually progress further in the gym if we've got a weak pelvic floor, because the minute you go to pick up a weight, say you want to start getting stronger in the gym and you go to pick up a weight, that's automatically putting pressure on it's called intra-abdominal pressure, putting pressure right on at the core. If we've got a weak pelvic floor, that's when you might become incontinent and have leakage. So we've got to get strong on the inside. Please, please, please make the time to do these. It is recommended to do them 3 times a day of 10 repetitions, but I know how hard it is to even do, to remind yourself to do 1 set of 10. So let's just start with 1 set of 10. This is volume number 3, so we are now doing this in a standing position, which again, I would say start there last. So lying down first, seated position. Once you can do them in a standing position, you can be a pelvic floor superstar. You can do them wherever you are, whether you're waiting in a queue at a shop, brushing your teeth in the morning or at night. And it's quite good to add your pelvic floor exercises onto a habit that you do every single day anyway. That's called habit building, and it's the best way to make something a habit. So if you're brushing your teeth every single morning, do them then. It becomes a habit. Before you know it, it's second nature, and you are a pelvic floor superstar. So I'm going to show you a few contractions first of basically what not to do. If you've never been shown how to do these correctly and you just get told do your pelvic floor exercises, or you may have heard of do your Kegels. Kegels is just the American phrase for pelvic floor exercises, so it's the same thing. Basically what not to do is squeezing your bum. You can see there, I'm squeezing my bum. Say I'm doing that in Tesco's, people are going to be like, what on earth is she doing? So it's a secret. No one actually knows that you're contracting, and that way you can do it while you're doing, say, something else. If you've already done volume 1 and volume 2, you'll see about the breathing. So it's when we breathe out, that's when we contract. That's when magic happens. But it's very important to be able to relax as well, because you can actually have an overactive pelvic floor as well, which can also cause you pain and any tightness. So we need to be able to contract, but also relax, so that when any intra-abdominal pressure happens, it knows when to work, but then it knows when to go as well. Because say like your bicep, if I was constantly contracting my bicep all day long, when I actually had to use it, it would be useless. It needs to work, it needs to rest. Okay, hope that makes sense. So let's start with a few contractions. We spoke about in volume 1 about sucking the milkshake up through the straw. We also spoke about sort of holding, if you were holding in a pump. That's the first way you can do it. Next way is the elevator that I speak about quite a lot as well. But there's different analogies, and something will work for you that won't work for someone else. So today I'm going to talk about as if your pelvic floor is trying to pick up a tissue. Imagine that. Pick up a tissue, let it go. Okay? Right. So remember, no squeezing of the thighs, no sucking in the bum. There's a slight zip up from the lower abs, like your lower abs will gently contract, but we're not sucking in. The minute we start to suck in, it's actually putting pressure down on your pelvic floor. So that's also something to think about. Say we're getting a photo taken. I know what all women are like. We're like, oh, suck in the stomach. Sucking in is pushing down on the pelvic floor. It's all right for maybe 1 quick photo, but don't do it all day long. It's really actually damaging your pelvic floor. Okay, so we're just going to start with some of the contractions. Take a big deep breath in. Nothing happens. As you breathe out, think about trying to pick that tissue up with your pelvic floor. No squeezing of the thighs, no sucking in the bum. Breathe in, drop the tissue. Breathe out. Can you pick that tissue up with your pelvic floor? Breathe in, drop the tissue. Breathe out. Pick the tissue up. As you can see, no squeezing of the bum. Nothing's happening here. Breathe in. Let the tissue go. Breathe out. Pick that tissue up. Try and visualise it in your head. Breathe in. Drop the tissue. Breathe out. Breathe in. You might even want to do this with your hand just to help you. And obviously, if you're in Tesco's, you're not going to be doing that, but just to practice in the house. Breathe out. Pick the tissue up. Breathe in. Let it go. Allow your stomach to relax when you breathe in. Breathe in. Stomach relaxes. You may even say expand. Breathe out. It comes in just ever so slightly. Breathe out. Suck up. Breathe in. Let it go. Breathe out. That's when we engage. Lift that tissue up with the pelvic floor. Can you feel it? Breathe in and let it go and relax it there. So again, once you've mastered lying on your side, then you go to a seated position, then you stand up, do it in a standing position, and just see what works best for you. Think about the different analogies. The sucking up through the milkshake, that's quite a good one. I like that one. The elevator is also really good to think about, and it's all about mind-muscle connection. If you can actually visualise that in your head and know what you're meant to be feeling, then it really will get stronger. And then you've got the picking up of the tissue there as well. Hope that makes sense. Let's really all work together on doing these. Like I say, it's never too early to start. I'm not pregnant or not even planning a baby, but I am going to practice these as much as I can. It's meant to help with the second stage of labour, so I'm hoping that I'll pop a baby out. It also helps with your recovery postpartum. And it's never too late to start these. Obviously, the earlier you start, the better, but it's never too late. The more, and it's like any other muscle, we can't just stop training it. We've got to keep doing it consistently. It'll become a habit, and then it'll really help you. You know, you can go back to all these high impact sports. We stay away from any kind of high impact things in classes to begin with, because it might take a good couple of months. It might even take years to really get you feeling back to where you were pre-baby and on the inside. All right. Any questions, pop them below. Let me know when you've done a set of these today. Write in the comments. It'll help everybody do theirs as well. Thanks, team.